My name is Rachel Bartlett. I am a huge fan of the HBO miniseries Band of Brothers. Last year I traveled to New Orleans, Louisiana for the 20th Anniversary Symposium at the National World War II Museum, and the symposium was to commemorate both the legacy of the show and the men of Easy Company who served in the 506 PIR 101st Airborne Division, and I took my phone with me everywhere I went to record a set of video diaries, and this is what I captured whilst I was there. So the second day was the big day, August 13th. So yeah, I had a hard time sleeping that night, mostly because of how excited I was that this was finally happening. And I got up super early again that day. Today is the day of days. That's right, today is the Band of Brothers 20th Anniversary Symposium down at the National World War II Museum, and I am ready to go. And I'm gonna go and find some breakfast first before I head over. I could not sleep again. I woke up, I think, twice. Around like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. And I couldn't go back to sleep, so I woke up around 4 again. Yeah, Dad, you couldn't sleep either, right? I felt so anxious because I was like, I gotta get up and go. Because I think it started around like 8 in the morning, and we didn't get out until like almost 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It was an all-day thing. And so my dad and I, we finally get up and we go down to breakfast, and then we make our way over. So he didn't buy a ticket, but instead he got to walk around the museum whilst I was at the symposium. Basically, I was waiting in line outside, waiting for the doors to open, and I had no idea what to expect.
They are doing a World War II reenactment there, and it was really interesting. They had jeeps, trucks, tanks. It must have been 300 guys dressed up.
I'm currently in line
and it was loud
for this. It was like a nervous excitement, whenever it's something you've been waiting to do for a really long time. I first get in there, and then they brought us in where we had to get our wristbands and the programs and everything too. So yeah, no, it was so much fun. So I remember when I first walked into the room, I was like, this place is massive. Oh man. This is so cool though. If you look up in the ceiling, and then they had all these different planes that were used during World War II. One of them was a P-51 Mustang, which is my dad's favorite plane. And there was a humongous stage where with a bunch of chairs all set up, and they had graphics up that said Band of Brothers, the Symposium or something. So I'm friends with Bill Garnier's granddaughter Debbie, and so I texted her saying where are you guys? She's we're not in yet. And I was the third row from the front of where they were sitting, but I was next to the table where the cast and crew would be sitting, so that was kind of cool. And then as soon as I saw everyone come in, because I already could feel the oh my god rising in my chest. But as soon as I saw all the actors come in, because I talk with them a lot on social media, and they like a lot of my posts too, and so then they came in, and then I was just internally, and then I was what am I doing? What? This is so surreal. It was crazy, because I met some of them on Zoom calls before with We Happy Few 506, but seeing people that you like, who acted in a mini-series that you really like, in person, it's... Oh my mind was blown. The first person I saw was Bill Garnier's granddaughter, Debbie. I unfortunately didn't get videos with everybody, so there was some footage that I missed, unfortunately, but I took a lot of pictures, so that'll make up for it. So this pin that I'm wearing, she gave me this pin, and she also gave me a luggage tag that I used as a Christmas ornament. But it was amazing, and she was so happy to see me there. And so then the panel started, and then everybody started talking. And I liked how they broke it up by certain things as well, too. And then there was lots of breaks, so you could talk with the actors like at multiple points throughout the day, and it wasn't like a shuffle along thing, which was really nice. Because then I got to chat pretty much with almost everybody, which was awesome. George Luz Jr., that's George Luz's son, and we took a selfie together where it's us with our sunglasses on. It was really funny. And that was the first time we actually met in person, because I know like we've been talking a lot through Facebook and Instagram as well too. Yeah, we took a bunch of funny pictures, and he's like, oh yeah, if you got like your sunglasses on or something. Like, we gotta take a selfie, so we took a couple, and then Debbie got in as well too. Doug Spain, literally, like where I was sitting, like maybe from here to like the corner of where my bureau is, Doug Spain was like 3 feet away from me, and he was talking to a World War II veteran, and then I texted him, and I was like, turn around, and then he was like, it was adorable. I finally got to meet Chris, which is Doc Crow's grandson, and I gave him this drawing that I did a long time ago, and it was of the Combat Medic's prayer, and then I drew Shane Taylor's version of Doc Rowe on it, and as soon as I gave it to him, like, he almost started crying. Like, he was so speechless, and then he was just like, he's like, oh, I don't want to cry anymore, I've done so much of it already. Oh, it was funny. And then I read this book, How Easy Company Became a Band of Brothers, with me as well too, because it's in his papa's home state, and I thought that was really, really special. My favorite part, though, was meeting Shane Taylor.
Thank God. All right, here. This is what I want you to do. I want you to take someone and work your way over to the 3rd Battalion, all right? You know what we need. Bandages, plasma, whatever you can beg, you beg. All right? And give me some goddamn scissors. I can't get any. You get yourself a hot meal, too, huh? Go.
So, he played Doc Rowe in the mini-series. So Shane comes out, and then he's kind of like standing by himself, and I'm like, all right, this is my chance. I gotta get up and talk to him. And he was very happy to see me, too, and so then he explained to me, like, what was going on with this package. What I was gonna say was like, I've got something for you, but he was like, okay, before we get into anything else, he was telling me about this package that he's been meaning to send me for so long, that he was gonna bring it with him to New Orleans and have like the whole cast sign it. I know what's in it now. It's a bunch of scripts and how the mini-series was made. He's like, it's a lot of really cool stuff, and he's like, I know where it is. It's at my parents' house. And then he was asking me a whole bunch of things, like, how was your flight? Like, is this your first time down here? And just really casual and lovely conversation, but I felt, like, so anxious at first. I was like, oh my god, what am I gonna say? You know, it was very lovely. He was, like, asking me about, like, other acting projects, like, later on at the autograph event, too. Another one of my favorite pictures that I got was with him and Chris Langlois together, because the two ties to Doc Rowe. And when I gave Shane the drawings, I was like, oh, actually, you know what? I'll tell you what's in this little envelope I have for you as well, too. And it was the 2 drawings that he liked on my Band of Brothers fan page. And so he was so speechless. He was like, oh, literally. And he was like, oh, bless your heart. And then he opened it afterwards, after the event was over. And he said, that was so kind of you. And yeah, he really liked it. I got to talk with Peter O'Meara and John Orloff.
Stay down! You stay down!
First Sergeant Lipton, you get things organized here. I'm gonna go for help.
And how that happened was John Orloff mentioned, oh, Western Massachusetts. And I was like, wait, did you say Western Massachusetts? Because I went to school out in Western Mass. And he's like, what? That's so cool. And I was like, yeah, I went to MCLA, which is Mass College of Liberal Arts. Then we brought it up again at the autograph session, which was actually really fun. He's like, oh yes, I remember, we did talk about that. So then I got the chance to talk to Ross McCall.
What did you say?
Literature.
Get out of here, you serious? I love to read.
Do you?
Yeah. Dick Tracy, Flash Gordon mostly. Yeah.
A friend of mine who is a family member of Joe Liebgott's, she's been trying to find as much information about her uncle as much as possible, and I got to talk to Ross, but I think he could sense my hesitation at first, because I was like, I don't know if there's a line, like, where do I go? He's like, hey, it's alright, you can come on over. And so, I got to chat with him a little bit about, certain things. Like, I asked him about his work on A Violent Man, and I was like, oh, what made you make the switch from, like, acting to directing? And he said, he's like, I didn't really make the switch. He's like, I mean, if something comes up, like, I'll do it, but mostly acting is his thing. And then I told him about Debbie and my friend Hannah, and he was just like, so I got a video of him, saying hello to both of them.
Saying hi to...
Debbie?
Okay, Debbie and Hannah.
Hannah, yes.
But Debbie, I hear that you're part of the Liebgott family, so I need to figure out how you get in touch with me, because we've got a lot to talk about. And who's the other friend?
Her name is Hannah.
And what does Hannah do?
You're going to be the last one. She has her own business, and she's locked out of the Band of Brothers, and she's you're her favorite.
I'm the favorite, I love her. But she'll go over and speak to Luz, and he'll be your favorite.
Oh my gosh.
That was so funny that he referred to Rick Gomez as Luz. Yeah. And then sure enough, I did talk to Rick Gomez afterwards.
Is there a problem, Captain Sobel? Who said that? Who broke silence?
I think it's Major Horton, sir.
Major Horton? What is he? Did he join us?
I think maybe he's moving between the platoons, sir.
What is the goddamn holdup, Mr. Sobel? A fence! Sir, God. A barbed wire fence! Oh, that dog just ain't gonna hunt. Now, you cut that fence and get this goddamn platoon on the move! Yes, sir!
He's a riot. Yeah. So Rick Gomez, like I told him how I really enjoyed his face steals videos that he does with Steve Zahn. Really funny. If you haven't watched it yet, it's on YouTube. And then I told him, he was like, how are you? So I also met Jason O'Mara, who played Lieutenant Thomas Meehan.
And Utah into one continuous beachhead. Each trooper will learn this operation by heart and know his and every other outfit's mission to the detail.
Lieutenant Meehan?
Yes, Dukeman.
Sir, are we dropping tonight?
When it's time for you to know, we'll let you know. In the meantime, study these sand tables, maps, and reconnaissance photos until you can draw a map of the area by memory. Now, we will drop behind this Atlantic wall 5 hours before the 4th Infantry lands at Utah.
He was a gentleman, and I told him, oh, I thought you were excellent in Sons of Liberty as George Washington, because that was also the show that Shane was into, and I know he already knew that. And then he's like, oh, it was an honor to play the nation's first president. He asked me if I was enjoying myself too, and I was like, I am. And I was like, are you enjoying yourself? He's like, yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot more than I thought I would. Matthew Settle.
You know why you hid in that ditch, Blythe?
I was scared.
We're all scared. You hid in that ditch because you think there's still hope. But Blythe, the only hope you have is to accept the fact that you're already dead. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you'll be able to function as a soldier's supposed to function. Without mercy, without compassion, without remorse. All war depends upon it.
I talked to Matt Settle, and he's like, hi, Rachel. It was really cool. And I talked to him a little bit about Spears and if he started reading Fierce Valor, and he's like, no, I haven't yet, but I plan to. But no, he was cool. So I also met Robin Lang and Mark Huberman. So Robin Lang, he played Babe Heffron in the miniseries. I also talked with Mark Huberman, and Doug Spain was the one who introduced me to him as well. So they played the replacements in the miniseries.
Heading back to Barracks. You Heffron? Yeah. Where you from?
Who's asking?
From Philadelphia?
South Philly, yeah.
I could tell. 17th Street.
Yeah, Front Street. Hey.
Yeah, sit down. Hey, you know a guy named Johnny Whalen?
Yeah, I know Johnny.
Call him Tarhead.
Yeah, Tarhead, yeah.
I'm gonna look for him.
How about yourself, you know? I'll go with you. Let me get some ammo.
That's okay. I'll go.
Me too.
All right. Go get him.
Then Renee Marino was like the first person who shook my hand at the symposium. He was like, "Rachel, it's so nice to finally meet you." I was like, "Oh, you as well." He's so nice. So he played Joseph Ramirez in the miniseries as well too. Freddie Joe. Oh yes, I met Freddie Joe and we talked briefly, but he'll come back again later on in another segment of the video diaries. He met my dad when we were on the way back home, and it was really funny. So I didn't get a chance to talk to him much during that. Of course, Jean Garnier, which is Bill Garnier's son. Peter Youngblood Hills. Oh, he's so sweet. Yeah, so he played Shifty Powers in the miniseries, and Shifty was the sniper. It was enjoyable talking with Peter, and I got a picture with him too. And then afterwards, like when I shared a picture on Instagram, he was like, "It was so I was just so happy to like sense the joy in you, Rachel." And I was like, "Oh, thank you." So now we're buds. So amazing how that works sometimes. Yeah, I also met George Khalil. I didn't get pictures with everybody, nor did I get a lot of like video footage because I was so caught up in like what was going on. And I regret it ever since, but you know, it's okay. Yeah, but I got a picture with Doug Spain though, and he's known as the king of selfies. And because he takes really amazing photos. I don't know how he does it. They always turn out so beautiful. So it was during the autograph session, and I was telling Doug, like, and I came up to Doug, who was like one of the first people in line, and he's like, "Rachel, I have something for you." And then he pushed forward this little Hershey bar that he had, and I was like, "Oh, thank you so much." And he basically was like, "Did you have fun?" and asking me like if I had a good time. And then I was like, "I'm so sad we didn't get a picture together." And then I was like, "I would take one now, but my phone's almost dead." And so then he pulls out his phone, but then one of the museum staff was like, "Doug, I don't know." And then he's like, "She's my friend." And then I was like, "Oh." So we got a picture together, which was nice because they were trying to get us through a lot as well. Yeah, no, and then of course, like moving along as well, they signed my box set, which was really amazing. It was really such a cool experience, like hearing them all talk about like what their process was to bring these men to life, and seeing them talk with so much pride in a project still like 20 years on, and knowing that they did the Men of Easy Company proud and did them justice. It was really a well done event, and I really hope I get to go back to another one like that to continue honoring the Men of Easy Company's legacy.